You said that you felt a responsibility when the Intifada began. How did you feel when the Intifada did begin? And as a lawyer, what did you feel like you needed to do?
We see that Israel is trying to combat terrorism. We see that the government of Israel was trying to take some steps. We saw the IDF trying to take some steps. But in the end of the day, it's not a conventional war. It's not a war against a military, against the army. It's a war against individuals, sometimes cells, sometimes organizations, but lawless organizations. You cannot have a regular war against them. So one of the ways to fight them is go and block their money, is to hurt them financially. And this, what governments cannot do. This is what the IDF cannot do. You know, governments sometimes have political restraints. They have a foreign relationship they have to take into considerations. They have international treaties that they are signed off. They have to be politically correct. We don't. We are private lawyers who represent private clients that have one goal: to bankrupt terrorism, one lawsuit at a time. We have cases against the Palestinian Authority, many of them on behalf of terror victims, but some of them are on behalf of Palestinian undercover agents that helped the security forces and got kidnapped or tortured by the Palestinian Authority. We represent them in Israel in the United States court. We got judgments against the Palestinian Authority. We put liens on their assets. We got restraining orders against them. And we have ongoing war against the Palestinian Authority as long as they support terrorism.
Is it true, like there was an article that was just written about you, that you make the terrorists squirm?
You know, in the beginning when we started, people said to us, how can you put the law on the lawless? How can you impose any law on people who don't respect the law? Those terror organizations are living in our world, are living one leg in the terror world, but one leg in the legal world. When they want to wire money, they need to use regular banks. And this is where we catch them. And yes, they scream.
Was there anything about the Intifada that made you want to get so personally involved?
Just the mere fact that we have, in order to maintain this country, in order to live in this country, we have to take a role. You know, private people build the state of Israel. Private people have to keep it safe.
As somebody who lived through the Intifada, I remember those days very well, and they were not very pleasant.
Horrible,
yeah.
Horrible days, scary days. We don't hear about suicide bombings because they were stopped. But until this day, Palestinians are trying to smuggle in explosive vests into Israel. They are trying to shoot people on the roads, and they do it in Judea and Samaria. They do it in the 443 road. They do throw hand grenades and Molotov cocktails. They keep doing it. Thank God the security fence and the security services were able to block these attempts. But there are attempts every single day. Terrorism did not come to a halt. Apparently the terror card is still there. And the Palestinians are not restrained from using it day after day after day.
Do you feel like you're on the front lines of the war on terror?
I feel that we have to do anything we can to join the fight against terrorism. We're doing the cases not only on behalf of Jews and Israelis, but also on behalf of other people who have their rights violated by cruel governments. So yes, we are fighting terrorism. We have to keep fighting terrorism. Terrorism became a global danger, a global threat to the entire Western world. We, in the end of the day, live in Israel, and we want to make sure that we live safely in our country. We want to ride our buses, we want to shop our malls, we want to sit in our cafes, we want to send our kids to school and to make sure that they are coming back safe. And this is our job, this is our role, this is our obligation. The Torah taught us, "Lo ta'amod al dam re'echa," don't stand idly by your brother's blood. We will not stand idly by our brother's blood. We cannot afford it, the state of Israel cannot afford it, and the Western world cannot afford it.